Hello, Year 9. Today we're going to have a look at we're up to Lesson 7. We're going to use our trigonometric ratios to find an unknown side length when the unknown side length ends up being in the denominator. So our success criteria for the end of this lesson is that you can rearrange a trigonometric ratio equation to solve for an unknown side in the denominator. Okay, so let's have a look at Lesson 7. Okay, using the trigonometric ratios to find unknown side lengths where the denominator is the unknown side. So let's have a look at our first example. This is pretty similar to what we were doing before. Or what I have tried to do with these notes to do the working out to something which I think most of you will do. So I haven't put in 8 steps or every single step in there. I put in the steps that I think that you should be putting in. So this first one, here's our diagram. When we look at that, we might redraw our diagram. We've got an angle here, we've got an unknown here, and we've got a number there. So the first thing you want to do is label them. So labeling those sides, there's our angle. So A is between the angle and the right angle. That one's A. The hypotenuse is facing the right angle. So that one's our hypotenuse. And O is the other one. So if we look at these and we see which ones we're dealing with, our unknown is on the hypotenuse. Our number we have is on O. So we've got O and H that we've got information for. We're trying to find information. The trigonometric ratio which features O and H is SO in our SOHCAHTOA. And probably when you're doing these exercises, we should probably write almost at the top of our page SOHCAHTOA and look for those two letters each time we do it. So sine theta, sine of the angle, theta being the angle, sine theta is equal to O on H from our SO. Substituting in our numbers that we've got 35 for theta. Sine 35 is equal to, our O is 5 and our H is X. Now, what I want you to do is when you look at that, I don't want us to be mucking around using our equations, laws, you might say, to rearrange. We're just going to remember this. If X is on the bottom, then swap X and the ratio being sine 35. So what we're going to do is we're going to swap them. We're going to move X to where, or sine 35 to where X was, and we're going to move X to where the sine 35 was, and then we're going to put it in our calculator. So putting them in our calculator again, I'm going to continue. Okay, so we've got our two calculators open. X equals 5 divided by sine 35, 5 divided by sine 35, sine, and then for this calculator we just put in 35 equals 8.717 to 2 decimal places, 8.71. Okay, so our next one, example 2, having a look at this triangle. Once again, there's our angle here. We've got an X on this side that we need to find. We've got 25 over there. So what we're going to do is we're going to label our triangle. So our angle is here. A is between the angle and the right angle. So this one is A. H is facing the right angle, is there. O is the other one. Let's have a look at what we've got now. Now this time around, X is next to A. 25 is on the O. We've got O and A. The ratio that uses O and A is TOA. So we have tan theta equals O on A. That comes from TOA. T, tan, theta equals O divided by A. So let's substitute our numbers in. Our theta is 29, so tan 29. Our O is 25, and our A is X. Same thing, we've got X on the bottom. We're rearranging when our unknown's on the bottom. Swap the X and the tan 29, the X and the ratio. So we end up with X. We put the tan 29 down where X came from. 25 divided by tan 29. Using our other calculator this time, the Abacus one, in case you've got one of those. It's very similar. we've got x is equal to 25 divided by 10. This gives us a bracket, so we're going to close our bracket as well. 29, close the bracket, equals 45.101, which to 2 decimal places, 45.10. Now, final example, one more time doing the similar thing. Here we have x. We need to find x correct to 2 decimal places again. I've got an x up here. I've got a 21 down here. Here's my angle. So labelling those sides. There's my angle at 34. A is between the angle and the right angle. That side's A. H is facing the right angle, the hypotenuse. And then O is the other one. Looking at here, what we've matched up, I've got an X next to the H. I've got a 21 next to the A. So A and H are the two that I'm looking at. So my ratio is K because A and H are in that one. So cos theta is equal to A on H. Substituting them in. The angle is 34. Cos 34 is equal to 21, which is our A, on X, which is our H. The unknowns on the bottom, rearrange them, swap, pull the X out and throw it on the left, put the cos 34 where the X was. X equals 21 divided by cos 34. Getting our calculator, we'll go back to the sharp one. I'll clear that. Okay, so we've got 21 divided by cos 34 equals 25.330, which is 25.33. Now, just before you go and do your exercise, have a look at a minute. Remember, they have to be in degrees mode. So this calculator's got a little D up here. If it's not in degrees, if for some way you've managed to get it into, let's say you've got it into radians somehow. Okay, so I can see an R here. My calculator will not give me the correct answers if I am going to put in an angle because this calculator is in radians mode and not degrees mode. The calculator thinks that there is 2 pi, or about 3.2 in a revolution instead of 360 degrees. So what I can do, remember, I can either go second function mode to get into the setup and put degree there, 3. That'll work, get my D. Or if I want to, I'll reset it to reset this calculator. Second function mode 9, that clear thing, 9. Let me go away from that. Sorry, my apologies. Second function, and then it's just clear. Now when I clear, I can clear up the setup, I can clear the memory. I just push 3 to clear everything. Reset or yes is the equal. That resets or, and what that does is it gets me back to degrees. On this one, what you can do is push that reset button there with your pen. If you reset it, it'll go back to degrees no matter what you've managed to get it into. Okay, so having a look at our problems today, we are solving for the denominator. So you've just got a series of questions here where each time when you do these, draw them. So they're in here, make sure you draw them in your book. When you draw them, don't draw them in this kooky angle. If you're drawing this thing here, let's draw it in a way that we can solve it. So if I'm looking at that, I've got a short side, I've got a long side. Obviously, I've got a right angle in here. The information I've got is there. That is that side is facing my right angle. I'm going to call that S. And the 85.4 is on the long side, 85.4. 75.8 degrees is on top of, it's up here in there, 75.8. So make sure when you do these problems, you draw the triangle at an orientation, which makes it easy to use in your book, and then you start labelling the sides, which for us here, this the angle, there's the angle, so that one is going to be A. This one over here is H, and this one's the other one. Okay, have a good day.